Bippy and the Christmas Bell, created by Alex J. Stokas. "Daddy," called Sebastian, "Christmas Eve is tonight." Colette chimed in. "And Santa will come to our house." "Yep, today we get our Christmas tree, as soon as Mom comes home." Marcus clapped his hands and laughed. Around 11 in the morning, Mom came home and everyone piled into the Honda. Bippy whispered into Sebastian's ear, "Let's get a big Fraser fir this year." Later that day, as the snowflakes gently began to fall, the family raced around the tree farm looking for that special Christmas tree. "Here, this one," Colette said, pointing to a very large fir tree. "No, this one," Sebastian said happily. Bippy gave up and began to walk back to the car. Suddenly, he slipped on the snow and slid down the hill. He tumbled until the branches of a tree broke his slide. "Help!" Bippy called, and everyone came running. "Wow, look at that tree!" Mom and Dad chimed together. "It is the best! Let's take it home!" Bippy chattered, "What about me?" He was shivering and cold. Dad brought a blanket and a saw from the car, wrapped Bippy in the blanket, then each family member took a turn cutting down the most perfect Fraser fir ever seen. At home, everyone sat around the tree as it was placed in front of the large window. Mom had brought the decorations from an unknown location and proceeded to take charge of the decorating. "Colette, you unravel the lights with Dad. Sebastian, you help me unpack the decorations and place them on the table. Bippy, you watch. When we finish decorating, Marcus will be lifted up by Dad so that he can place the angel on top." Soon, the tree was fully decorated with dozens of ornaments from years past. The colored lights lit up the room brilliantly, but no angel on top. Dad called Marcus, who came tottering over. He lifted Marcus with the angel in his hand and helped him guide the angel to its place on top of the tree. Marcus was giggling and smiling like a Cheshire cat. "Yay!" Everyone clapped as they exclaimed, "Whoopee!" Frodo barked his approval, and Bippy had the biggest smile ever. It was a magical sight to see. Bippy announced that it was time for hot chocolate and music. Everyone sat around the tree laughing and singing. Mom declared, "Time for bed. Santa is coming soon." And of course there were cries of, "Not yet, Mom. Soon." "Aww." Dad pointed upstairs, and all reluctantly climbed the stairs, washed, put on PJs, slipped into their beds, and were soon fast asleep. It was around midnight when there was a loud whoosh, followed by the sound of jingling bells and prancing feet on the roof. Bippy sat up with a start, nudged Sebastian, and said excitedly, "Santa is here, now!" Sebastian sleepily sat up and said, "You are dreaming. Go back to sleep. It's too early for Santa." Bippy slipped out of bed, then quietly opened the door and tiptoed down the staircase. He peered around the corner of the doorway to the living room, and there, before his eyes, was a round, white-bearded man in a red suit, placing gifts under the tree. It must be Santa, Bippy thought, and watched silently as the figure in red finished his work, stepped back, closed his sack, took a deep breath, ate 2 cookies, and drank the tea left for him. He turned and, smiling, said, "Bippy, I have a special gift for you, but you will have to find it." He gave a hearty "ho, ho, ho," and in a flash disappeared. Santa's sleigh passed over the house, and the turbulence caused by his speeding reindeer caused a bell to fall off the reins, bounce across the roof, and come to rest in the deep snow by the front door. With all this clatter, banging, and prancing, Sebastian and Colette were awakened and rushed downstairs to see Bippy standing at the open door and pointing into the sky. The three rushed outside and began to look in all sections of the deep snow. Bippy spotted a place in the snow that looked like it was made by a falling object. He pointed and called, "Over here!" Colette dove into the snow and said with laughter, "Here it is!" As she came up with a bell, she shook it, and the bell jingled with a soft echo that sounded like ice crystal whispers. Handing it to Sebastian, who also gave it a shake and smiled as he listened to the delicate whisper of the bell, before handing it to Bippy, who gave the bell another gentle shake and held it to Marcus's ear. Marcus let out a big "Ooh! Ah!" as his eyes grew wide as saucers. Everyone laughed, and the bell was shown to Mom and Dad, who had come down to see what all the noise was about. Colette promptly did a scientific analysis of the bell, examining it carefully, testifying to its authenticity by pointing to the two small initials engraved on its side, S.C. Sebastian agreed, and later that day spoke to several neighbor children, assuring them this indeed did occur. Bippy sat on his chair and smiled, for he knew he had found that special gift Santa had promised. Not the bell, but what it brought, the joy and love of family, as a reminder of what this time really celebrates, a time that will be remembered and written in the Christmas book, to be read and reread every Christmas.